Blitz is an old game now. It isn't its flashy counterpart to WoT. No, WoTB is nothing new. Pushing what, like 10 years? Jesus, a decade. A decade we have been here. People have left. Some people are still here. So there's no wonder that there's room for nostalgia. In today's video, we're discussing nostalgia in WoTB. So join me on this long and strange journey through nostalgia in Blitz. There's already a marketplace for WoTB nostalgia. Tons of videos out there just showing old photos of WoTB pictures and gameplay, and it's beautiful, you know, the music behind it, and I get a sense of when I was younger, when life was simpler. And like, yeah, we all know what nostalgia is. This is 2024, not 2022. But why do we still make these nostalgia edits, and why are they so popular? Well, if you look into the comments of these videos, they usually reminisce about the old days, about when the game was earlier, when it was less premium tanks running around, or the game wasn't a serious gambling addiction, or back when the game wasn't dying. A sort of longing for the old ways, the old tank game that we all fell in love with. And I think spending a few minutes looking at these nostalgia edits, I'll put some in the description, is fine. As long as you're just doing that, I think it's great. /WoT Blitz Player Union is 197 members that is dedicated to fight against wargaming and their unrightful decisions. Review bombing every cut out. What are we talking about? Why people make these nostalgia edits? Okay, so I think the real easy answer here is just because, well, it evokes old nostalgic feelings of when I was a kid and when the game was simpler. But as you can tell by the remaining runtime of this video, I disagree. I think that these videos can spark, and will spark, something much more devastating to this game's player base, intentionally or not. And you may say, hey, E100 guy, why are you hating on these videos? They aren't that bad. And you're right, these videos are beautiful, well edited, and nice music. Go sub to these guys, please. It's not the creator or these videos I have a problem with. In fact, the opposite. No, it's the people in these comments here, and it's always the comments, isn't it? Here in these comments, we find our first trace of hate towards wargaming. Comments saying stuff like, this game used to be good, this game was so much better back in 2020. And I get it, Blitz was objectively better back then. After all, there are tons of negative reviews on the WoTB Google Play now, and yes, I know there's a ton on Reddit too, and there's a ton in YouTube comments. Everyone wants the old WoTB back. Even I've made a video about nostalgia, then versus now, about the Grill 15. It seems like everyone and their dog is complaining about the current state of WoTB. So, I want to know why this game is so terrible now, and why people are nostalgic for the past. So as always, I'm riding on the back of other WoTB YouTubers to give me some answers. So what's wrong with today's game?
Well, Jesus Christ, matchmaking is like, you know, shit, premium tanks, ugh, premium tanks. Yeah, well, I mean, like, the last good event was like, I don't know, some other event, but there's like no good events nowadays. Oh yeah, and the gambling is like, you know.
So do you think the old version's better or the new version's better?
Definitely the old version.
Oh, okay. That's it?
Yeah.
I want to know why modern WoTB is considered to be the hellhole that it supposedly is, and I didn't get anything beyond what Castilla has said here. Blitz is dying because of X, Y, and Z, and that's why players are feeling nostalgic, is because of, well, X, Y, and Z. Back when Blitz was innovative and perfect and just filled with nostalgia. Back when this game wasn't filled with reviews that hated the game. Like, look at these reviews. They're terrible. So, older Blitz was better, right? So there's no need to talk about anything else. Then why are we only halfway through the video? Oh boy, do I have a little surprise for you. Remember those reviews I just showed you? Well, those were actually from 2014. That is how early people started complaining about this game. And this isn't the only one. There's a ton of bad reviews from 2015 to now. Bad reviews have been a part of the game since its birth. And why do I think people keep on complaining? Well, I feel like the Blitz community is sort of like a broken record. People will go out of their way to complain just because it gives them attention. For instance, how many times have you seen that Blitz is dying thumbnail on the WoTB video? Or someone commenting, this game is dead. Like, okay, yeah, we get it, you don't like the game anymore. But I think players feel morally justified to take vengeance. So much so that there's 197 members in a group trying to take down everything that wargaming has done wrong. Spreading old World War II era propaganda posters throughout the internet, as well as review bombing every single website that WoTB is on. What I'm trying to get at here is that players have been mocking and finding every little niche problem with Blitz since the beginning of time. Old WoTB was good, but it wasn't without its flaws. Old WoTB famously suffered from technical issues, and the graphics were very not good, and the premium tanks were still overpowered back then, but it seems everyone has forgotten about it, and we all view it through the lens of these nostalgia edits, where it was perfect. To really drive this point home, I want to share with you some reviews I found from 2014 to 2015. This game sucks and the teams suck. Everything sucks. Do not buy this game. I hate the way this game feels. It's like you're driving some sort of steam engine boat. Would not recommend. Honestly, I expected more from wargaming. From a company that's made such a great computer game, has made such a terrible mobile game. 1 star. If you play modern WoTB and you don't like it, that's okay. There are valid reasons to not like it. But if you're holding a game, any game, to a standard it had 10 years ago with different developers, a different game, frick, a whole different era of civilization at that point, I have to ask, what is actually to be gained from viewing any piece of media from that lens? Even if they did switch it back to the era of 2015 to 2016, do you think we would actually play it? I don't think we would. I think instead, we would be doing something different. And I think that's what we got. Something cool about modern WoTB is you will never know what will happen. Those WoTB trailers be sheer brain rot sometimes, but as long as they're trying to do something new, I think that's okay, and we as a community should let them take these risks. Everything changes, and that can make seeing what they are complicated. That can be scary, but it doesn't need to be. When you're looking at media from your past, what are you seeing? Are you seeing for what it is, or are you remembering for how it felt? I don't have an answer to that, but when I watch these nostalgia edits, I can't say that some of the appeal isn't when life was simpler, when I was younger. So when 5.5 came around, was it really that one update that bothered me? Or was it the subtle indication that everything, including the game I was playing, were changing? I don't know. But what I do know is that the more you want things to be like the way they were, the more bitter and disappointed you will become. I think that's important to remember that, whether that's playing a game that's 10 years old or you just happen to be around that long. Oh, and that question, I ruined the conclusion for this video. That question of why people make these nostalgia edits, I think it's just to reminisce about the good old days, and that's fine. I miss the old days as well. But I think it's time to look to the future and have the new generation of tankers here have their own 2015/14, if that makes sense to you. Oh, I ruined this.